everyone, it's Nicole. Welcome back to my channel and another paper crafting video tutorial. Today I'm super excited to share some vintage holiday cards featuring brand new products from the Papertrey Inc. November 2023 release. I couldn't get enough of this release, and so I thought it would be fun to showcase lots of products from this amazing release, but create 3 different cards, all in the same colorway. They all utilize a lot of the same product, but the featured items will be a little different. I started out with some black cardstock that I die cut with the Psalm Reflections November dies. This is the larger of the 2 dies in this set, and I am taking white pigment ink and ink blending around the edges and then just kind of buffing it. This is going to give it a light, almost chalkboard type of look and appearance. It does end up looking much better than it looks right here in the finished card design. I like how it just softens it so you can really see the difference between the one I inked and the one I didn't. So I will go ahead and do this for the remaining 2 backgrounds. This piece is going to serve as the focal background to build upon all of the different scenes or stories that we are going to be doing today. I often like to have some sort of repetition if I'm doing a card set like this that does feature a lot of the same items, but also a lot of different. So you'll notice backgrounds and greetings are going to be repeated throughout all 3. Now, once I have this done, it is time to stamp greetings. I like to do this by having plenty of cardstock at the ready, and we are going to then be stamping greetings from the Vintage Holiday Flair stamp set. Now, I love the Vintage Holiday Flair stamp set. I am here for any kind of stamp set that has that vintagey holiday vibe to it, and this one is amazing. So I am going to stamp lots of different pieces from this stamp set on white cardstock, starting with my focal greeting, Merry Christmas. I am using a lot of Lawn Fawn dye inks today. You can use any of your favorite dye inks. I will say this, I kind of think I used this mostly because Lobster Red from Lawn Fawn is my all-time favorite red, and because I had that drawer open with my inks, I just went ahead and went with Lawn Fawn today. It was really fun. So I will be sure and link any of the inks I'm using down below and mention them here in the video. Once I have my Merry Christmas, it is time to stamp all of the rest of the components. Now, this could be a very beautiful standalone set on its, just on itself or by itself without the addition of cute imagery. But of course, I want to add lots of imagery to mine, but I do want to stamp all of the Vintage Holiday Flair first. I love this little banner that fits underneath. I've stamped that with Lawn Fawn ballet slippers. It's a beautiful soft pink. On top of this banner, I will be stamping additional greetings in Lobster Red. But first, I've got some little leaves here, holly leaves, that I will stamp in Artichoke, I believe is the color of this green. Love this green as well. Having multiple sheets of paper and being able to just kind of rotate all of these is fantastic if you are mass producing cards. Then I've got the berries that go with the holly leaves. I'm going to stamp those and that little phrase that fits on the banner. One of the things that I particularly love about Papertrey ink is all of the little parts and pieces. Very, very well thought out for stamp layering. There's always everything that you could think of there, even the teeniest tiny little things, including like you'll see snowmen's noses and all of that good stuff. And the little berries, it's amazing. I've got some additional greenery that I am going to stamp. I will be using some Noble Fur ink. I wanted a variety of green colors. I've talked about this in other videos that I think it's important if you have some greenery to have a variety. Now I did stamp this little swirl. I did not end up using it for my cards, but I was doing it, so I went ahead and left it in. I do love it, and I can save that for something else. So I think we have most of what we need for our sentiments and everything to embellish. It is time to start on our first card. This is the Sweet Holiday stamp set. You guys probably would have guessed, looking at this, if you follow me at all, that I would have picked the mug set first. That is just near and dear to my heart. I have a fondness for anything mug themed, and so I love it. And this one is especially cute. Now, the mugs themselves are solid, so I went ahead and die cut the mug first, and then I'll just kind of place it back within that negative space on my pattern, or on my cardstock, and then I will line up the mug. I decided for my card that I want to have a kind of aqua colored mug for my first mug, and then a pink one for the second. So we are going to stamp the base color with Mermaid Lawn Fawn ink, and then any of our additional inking on top of this, the mug details, and then the snowflake decoration with Peacock Lawn Fawn ink. Remember, with dye inks, they do stamp a little darker than what they end up being. They absorb and smooth out as the ink dries into the cardstock, and they dry very quickly. There is the detail stamping for the mug, and then I'm going to take the large snowflake and add that. Now, I want to mention there is a great winter stamp set included in the November release. If you are looking maybe to do some cards not Christmas or holiday themed, I think that the mugs with the snowflakes on them would be phenomenal for winter themed cards. You could take a lot of what is in the mug set and translate that into cards that work for lots of different occasions. I'm thinking especially things like birthdays, anything like that. You would be able to then use those or use this beyond just the holiday season. For my peppermint sticks, I went with pink and red. I am loving the aqua with the pink and red for these cards with the little pops of green. I will need a couple of these peppermint sticks for my hot cocoa little scene today. Off camera, I did stamp that snowman marshmallow, and I did stamp him in flannel. Simon Says Stamp Positively Saturated ink. It's a really nice light gray. Because I'm stamping a marshmallow on white, I had to find something that would work. I kind of used several colors trying to find the right one. The coffee I did in a couple of shades of Lawn Fawn brown ink, or hot cocoa, I guess. The spoon in a couple of shades of gray Lawn Fawn ink, and the marshmallow, we are again going to go with flannel and Earl Simon Says Stamp Positively Saturated inks. What I especially love about the snowman marshmallow, and again, so sorry I did not get him stamped on camera, is that he has a face and a nose. And yes, there are the layering stamps for each of those, which is awesome, as well as the layering for the marshmallows. I wasn't sure I was going to love the marshmallows at first, but in the finished card, they are perfection. I went ahead and die cut all of those pieces, and now we're going to stamp our second mug. I'm using the same mug again, and I am going to stamp this one with Ballet Slippers ink. And then all of the detail for this, I believe I used Wild Rose and Lobster. So for the mug detail, I used I think it's Wild Rose. You may have to check the links down in the description for the exact color. I was going to use Lobster, and I thought, I don't know if that's going to be exactly what I want to do for this one. So I switched it up a little bit. But the whipped topping for this one, I definitely want to go with the fog ink again. I started to ink it up with lobster and I changed my mind. We're just going to wipe that away and grab something else. So it's going to end up a little lighter than what the lobster would be. Then I'm going to take the smaller snowflake images and we're going to stamp those all over. So there's the full snowflake and then there's like a half. So you can really decorate your mug. So much fun. You guys, I love this set so much. And I did use an acrylic block. A lot of times as I start layering, especially with these PTI sets that are nice and small, I just kind of give up with my Misty. So there is the whip topping. I will say I did not like my first stamped image. I stamped it with the Earl Grey ink on top. And I don't know, something about it just, it's fine. It's not my favorite. So I'm going to stamp the whip topping again and layer on Ballet Slippers pink. And to me, that just worked a little bit better. Don't be afraid to work with your inks. Try different things until you get exactly what you want. You know, it may not always be a hit on the first one. And I like to kind of leave some of that in here today. You've noticed probably as I've stamped a few times that I have maybe restamped something that I didn't love the first time. Once we have everything, I am going to go ahead and die cut those pieces as well. Now I am heating up my Glimmer hot foil system because I want to use the Diagonal Stripes hot foil background with Hammermill cardstock to foil some backgrounds. Remember at the beginning of the video, I talked about the Psalm Reflections November background that I die cut from black cardstock and inked with white, and how that is a repeating element among all three cards, as are the Vintage Holiday Flair sentiments. Well, this is the other element that repeats through all three. I wanted a simple background that wasn't a solid cardstock for added interest. It needs to be interesting enough, but not take away from all of the design, because it's going to be a pretty busy card with all of these little die cuts and things. I love a simple diagonal, and this one foiled in red is beautiful. I did this 3 times. I die cut the panel using a rectangle die. You can use a paper trimmer if you want as well, but I love using a rectangle die after I have foiled it, so I get a perfect rectangle or shape every time. Now I am adhering my components to my card. I did adhere the Psalm Reflections November label to the background with foam adhesive. I'm attaching my Vintage Holiday Flair with foam adhesive, as I also the Sweet Holiday images. So the mugs are going to be tucked down here along the bottom and the sentiments up at the top for this design. The mug on the left with the marshmallow snowman is so cute. I mean, you guys, I love it. It is absolutely adorable. And then our pink mug has the peppermint sticks in it, which I love equally as much. Absolutely so pretty. I've popped up the banner underneath. We're going to glue our spoon down right here. And then it's time to layer in the finishing details. And to me, this is what really brings it all together. It's adorable just like this, but we're going to add greenery around our sentiment. We'll add peppermints around our mugs and some marshmallows as well. Add little holly berries and leaves. Going to add this one here to the mug, kind of next to the peppermint sticks. It just is so adorable. I can't get over how all of the little elements work together to make absolutely an amazing, beautiful holiday card design. You'll notice that I use a mix of liquid and foam adhesive, just kind of working around what is popped up. And when I'm finished, I will take a heart embellishment and add that to the center of the snowflake. We're layering some greenery around our greeting. I'm going to add a little additional holly berry leaves and berries there. And then a few additional marshmallows that spilled out of our mug and are right here by the spoon. The final thing is I will take this entire panel and glue it to a white top fold card base. Next up, we are going to be featuring I Heard the Bells. I love this. So this stamps and dies. The dies for the bells are solid, so I felt like I should probably die cut those first, inlay those into the negative shape, and then stamp them. I loved the color scheme from the first card so much that I decided to replicate it for the final 2 cards. I am using ballet slippers for both of my bells with lobster red layered on top. The little jingle bells, I am going to be stamping with some shades of yellow ink. That was a color that I didn't use before, but I felt like I needed to have something a little different here. And then we are going to stamp the ribbon or the bow that's kind of tying them all together with mermaid and peacock. Now there's a lot of ways you can put these bells together. I obviously am using the label background and the vintage holiday Flair sentiments. So I felt like I needed to figure out a way to kind of make all of that work together. The sky is the limit. You can truly do anything you want to do here. I wasn't sure I was going to like the bells until that right there. And then you can see that the ink is dried and is smoothed out. And I love them. So here are my little bells. I did end up only using one of them on my finished card, but I'm stamping both of them at the same time. This is some butter ink. I'm going to layer on then some number 2 pencil, and I love this color for a rich yellow. It is so pretty. And one of my favorite deep yellow colors. Aren't those cute? I love these bells. For the bow, again, this is going to be aqua, and that's where we're going to pull in some of that great aqua color. Lots of red in the sentiment, so I felt pretty good about not doing that. And my paper shifted, so those are going to be a no. And we're going to re-stamp our pine or our branches here with the artichoke ink. I couldn't believe I did that. I mean, it happens a lot. I leave it in here. I love to leave in some of those things that happen so you guys see it happens all of the time. All right. So now we're going to stamp our ribbon. The elements for this card are what I would maybe consider a little bit bigger than, for sure, the final card, but also the Sweet Holiday card that we just finished. I think these bells would be so pretty, kind of even on their own, maybe used as gift tags. And the layering for this ribbon is magical. It's only 2 pieces, but oh my goodness, so good. Just the most beautiful paper bow. Okay, I have all of my components. We are going to pop everything up again, just like we did the last time. So I popped up my background. We're going to pop up our sentiment. I'm using lots of foam adhesive, all of the things I say. And then we will pop up the bells along the, or on the second half or bottom of this design. Kind of play around with it. I think I need to shift these maybe just a little bit because I do want to be able to fit my banner the rest of my greeting into this design. I always could have opted for a smaller design, but I really was loving this whole vibe. So we're going to make it work yet again. This one says Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. There are a couple of options. I think I forgot to mention that in the Vintage Holiday Flair. We're going to tuck our greenery around our Christmas. We will also be tucking the larger greenery around our bells. So I love, again, that the dies die cut the opening for the top of the bells. This will make it easy. If you want to string them on real ribbon or twine, you can very easily. There's the paper ribbon that goes with this design. That would be amazing. I layered my bells together. We're going to put that big, beautiful blue bow there. And then I want to figure out how to place the greenery around the bells to really showcase them. But I don't want to completely cover them up. So this first one, we're going to kind of tuck in between. And then this one, I didn't really like how I originally had it. I felt like it covered up the bell too much. So what I'm going to do is actually pick that up. And I think we're going to have to trim it a little bit to make it lay nicer. Like that. So I'm just going to take my scissors and slice down one side. No one is ever going to know. If you have to do a little paper surgery there. Little glue back behind the center of the bow, and then I will grab one of the bells and we're just going to tuck it up here. So lots of little bells. We have our bells, we have our jingle bells. We have all of the things. Oh, I love it. And I do think the yellow was a good call for that. Kind of gives it more of a gold look. Let's tuck in our remaining greenery. Glue this to a white top fold card base and start on our third and final card design today. We will be building the final card called Winter in the City. And it is exactly what you think it is, and it is so stinking cute. I think you guys are going to love this one as well. Honestly, this might be one of my favorite PTI releases in some time, and I love all of them, but just really, really inspired by all of the fantastic holiday pieces here. Okay, so now I am going to do exactly like I have done for the previous two cards, the same color story really. We've got aqua, red, and pink. Of course, pulling in greenery and things like that. We'll do browns for the bare trees. We'll have a cute little snowman stamped in flannel and then adorned. And I love the little snowman in this set. I could use him on so many things. And as I was looking at this set and contemplating how I wanted to use this, because it's absolutely adorable as a scene builder. And I am doing a scene, but it's a modified scene because I want it to fit within the confines of the diagonal stripe background. And then our big label there from the Psalm Reflections, and then the large Merry Christmas. And so I left out a lot of the components because they just really don't work with the design. So look for more cards coming from me with this set because I love it. I think it's just really, really cute. And again, a very fun way to create lots of little winter scenes. There's even the carrot nose. I mean, and then the scarf, you guys, so good. I cannot believe all of the detailing for these sets. So absolutely incredible. Isn't that snowman just so much fun? He's so much fun. The wreath, I mean, absolutely perfection. Little bow for the wreath. You could hang that on any of the houses. You could have the snowman holding it. The light poles. Oh my goodness. I mean, I just can't say enough great things about these sets. I love them. It's so much fun. And no coloring required. For all of my non-coloring viewers, I know you guys are always looking for more options for things that you don't have to color. And PTI is one of my go-tos for a non-coloring option. I very, very seldom color anything from them. Almost everything is just ink layering or dye layering, and you gotta love that. So we're going to stamp up some trees. The layering I am going to do in that same Simon Says Stamp flannel, which is what I use for the snowman. Anything white, basically. I'm using that. I probably could have just left it white, but you know, whatever. I do love that there is the layering for this. I want to mention, if you are stamping this on, let's say, craft cardstock, I'm a huge fan of craft cardstock, then you could stamp it and then do the white portions in a white pigment ink, and I think that would be super fun. As always, I am going to die cut all of these components, and then we will put the entire thing together, building our little scene on the background that we have already pre-planned. The moon, I did decide to add the moon. I already had my yellow inks out, and I thought it would be cute kind of back behind our little row of houses. I adhere everything to the background just like I did the other cards. There you can see the finished design. I added a little heart to each one of them, my little signature, and here's a look at all 3 finished cards. Thank you guys so much for joining me today for these vintage holiday cards featuring Papertrey Inc. November 2023 release products. The supplies I used are listed and linked below the video here on YouTube. Thank you so much for joining me today for another paper crafting tutorial. I love being able to share with this incredible community of crafters. I want to give a huge shout out and special thank you to my amazing Patreon members. If you're interested in joining Patreon, please click the link in the description underneath the video here on YouTube. Patreon is a private community where you can support more of what I do. There is exclusive content, information, and behind-the-scenes content. Top-tier members will receive a handmade birthday card during your birthday month, access to D-Stash, and monthly exclusive lives, plus so much more. We would love to have you join our growing community. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to my channel, click the like button, and don't forget to hit the notification bell to always be notified when I have a new paper crafting video or I go live. Thank you so much for joining, and we'll see you next time.